Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to this webinar. We are very exciting about it. So today we will speak about empowerment. I hope you enjoyed the music and you are now in a very good mood for this webinar. So before getting started, I will very quickly introduce SGAC. So SGAC stands for Space Generation Advisory Council, and it's a global non-governmental and non-profit organization and network in support of the United Nations Programme on Space Application. It has been created 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago now, and it aims at representing university students and young professionals working in the space sector between 18 and 35. So AJC, it's more than 150 countries and more than 15,000 members, which is a lot. So every year AJC organizes around 40 events. Of course, this year was a bit different, but we ended up with more than 100 webinars. So it's awesome, and you are today part of one of these webinars. So thank you. If you don't know this organization, we strongly advise you to check their website, spacegeneration.org, and to check the project groups. They have around 10 project groups which cover various topics. And they also have more than 100 partners and scholarships every year to allow people to go to space conference in everywhere in the world. So now, what is Argent Leap? So Argent Leap is an initiative created by by a few members of AJC in July 2019, and it has more than 90 members now. So I'm Clara Morisseau, and I'm part of this initiative, Argent Leap. I've been part for more than a year and a half. So we are aiming at finding solutions for more gender equal and equitable place and more diversity in the aerospace sector. We have a few objectives. So one is to raise awareness and break stereotypes within and outside of AJC. We also want to provide concrete recommendations for implementations in industry and academia. Another one is to inspire women to join the space sector, to enrich aerospace by advocating for diversity and inclusion, and last but not least, to set up a network of people interested and ready to pursue the search for solutions to existing problems. So we are creating several activities which are divided in 4 main pillars. The first one is long-term projects. So we have one project which is to encourage more women to apply to astronaut selection. We also want to support the first woman on Mars, and we also want to collaborate with teachers and educators to educate young children and their parents. Another important pillars is communication and outreach. So early next year we will release our first magazine, and we are also organizing a couple of webinars such as today. We are also organizing events. Our big kickoff events was in September 2020 back in Toulouse. It was called SG France 2020. And we are also aiming at having more partnership. So today we are here for the webinar masterclass about empowerment, and we have the privilege to welcome Dr. Anna Chrobry. So Anna, if you're here, maybe you can say hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hello, Anna. Thank you so much. We can hear you loud and clear. So the first episode is from facing the imposter syndrome to gaining some self-confidence, and this will be the topic for today. And we will have another webinar earlier next year about modern leadership, which will be given by Anna as well. So Anna is a physicist. She's been working in the aerospace sector for a couple of years. She did a PhD in collaboration with DLR, and now she's working at OHB as a project manager and system engineer in telecommunications. So she's also a strong advocate for gender equality and diversity, and she's also fighting for women's empowerment, which is why she's here today. So this webinar is in collaboration with the I Am Enough campaign, which is linked to the webinar today. This campaign is aims at encouraging women to think they are the best version of themselves. It was created by the UNSA Foundation. So this foundation was founded by Martina Wojciechowska, and their objective is to help women to spread their wings by providing them with equal economic, social, and legal opportunities. So if you want to support the foundation, you can check their website as well. And also you can buy a few items so related to the I Am Enough campaign. Christmas is in a few days, so don't hesitate to check the website. So now I've been talking already way too much. I'm going to give the floor to Anna in a couple of minutes. But before, we would like to know a bit more about you. So if you can join this Slido and use the link that you can see here, which is 80, 81, and 4. We'll do a quick Slido to get to know each other. I'm waiting a couple of minutes for you to join. And so I will launch the first question. So the first question is, where do you come from? I see many names here, so I think there are many people coming from different places, which is awesome. Wow, incredible. You're coming from everywhere in the world. It's awesome. Great, so I'm waiting, maybe there will be more inputs. Wow, we have a few people from Italy. Lots of people from France. People in Europe, but also I see Costa Rica, India, Chicago, Vietnam. Wow, it's awesome. Incredible, many people from India. Welcome everyone. I don't know what time is it in your country, but I think we have people from many different time zones. So thank you all for joining. Okay, so the next question is, have you already heard about the imposter syndrome, which is the topic for today? It seems like it's a full yes. Great. Okay, so for some people it's quite new, but yeah, to the majority it's a full yes. So it's great. I hope you will have many questions then. I know Lulia writes it in the chat, but you can use the chat during the webinar to ask your question. We will have a Q&A session after the masterclass, but if you have some questions that are popping in your mind, feel free to write them in the chat, and we will ask them to Anna after the masterclass. Okay, so next question is, have you already faced the imposter syndrome, so yourself or someone around you? So again, many yes. So I guess this is also the reason why you're here, to know more about how to gain more self-confidence. So for me, it will be a yes as well. And I'm really looking forward to the masterclass. Wow, so full yes. Okay, so I hope you will learn a lot. And there's one more question. So what do you think is the percentage of people currently facing the imposter syndrome? Okay, it's divided. So we have 75% at the top answer, and then it's quite divided, yeah. So I think Anna will tell us more in a few minutes about this percentage. Okay, I'm waiting for more inputs. Awesome. So I guess we don't really know. It's quite divided. Well, let's discover it now. So I will stop sharing my screen. Hannah, the floor is yours. Thank you so much again for being here. And you can now share your screen. So Hannah, I'm not hearing you.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, let's maximize it. Okay, so
Perfect.
So welcome everybody once again. We are going to speak today about a couple of important issues. Thank you very much, whole SGSC and our Giant Leap for supporting this event. And thank you, organizers, the wonderful three musketeers that are here. You are amazing, really. Unfortunately, in the virtual world, we are very much constrained. And if we were in one room before I enter the stage, we will be listening together a lot of empowering songs at the beginning, but we will also be chatting to each other and we will exchange this positive energy. And I made this webinar today because pandemic, in my opinion, was very tough, especially on women, and we need more support. Today, I would like to share with you based on my experience and what I learned from others. And I learned through some soft skill courses and books, what I take as a compass to navigate via these ups and downs of being a woman and sometimes suffering from imposter syndrome. So let us start to speak what it is. I am not enough. Imposter syndrome is a term that was first defined in a scientific article by Pauline Clance and Susan Imes in 1978. It comes from various forms, where it can be about the feeling of not being enough, or not smart enough, not efficient enough, and that everybody around me are better than me. So many people experience thoughts along these lines, and that it can only a matter of time before being unmasked. Now we are wearing masks, but this is not what I mean, as an imposter, hence the name imposter syndrome. So I would like you to have some sort of reflection and answer yourself. Do you thrive in your life or simply survive? Answer, please. And it will help you to reflect if you suffer from imposter syndrome. So you overwork or over-prepare constantly. You focus on one wrong thing instead of all the right things you did, you achieved. You blame yourself, your success, purely on luck. If you fail on the first try, you're done. You don't try again. You think anyone could do what I've done. You believe something must be difficult to be worth doing. You feel addicted to people pleasing. You're really dissatisfied at work, like nothing is good enough. You constantly live in a fear you'll be fired, even though your performance reviews or feedback are positive. Does it sound familiar to you? I'm afraid yes, if you are on this webinar. Or maybe you have totally wrong impression, thinking that someone has no imposter syndrome, very high value on themselves, when they are arrogant or aggressive, or when they claim their rights very loud, or they intimidate other people. And sadly to say, these people also suffer from imposter syndrome a lot. So imposter syndrome can strike you anytime, but it often comes when you're outside your comfort zone, when you are trying something new, It can also appear whether we define our success in the criteria that are totally wrong, not defined by us. And the roots of imposter syndrome can be the genesis, can be found in never-ending cycle of comparison. And it tends to show up in highly competitive environment where people are being compared against colleagues. It can also come from your own comparisons of your own expectations. Sometimes it originates from the belief that success can be hard and must be hard, almost impossible to obtain. And when we find out it's not as hard as we expected, then we think it was our mistake, or maybe it was just a luck. And in addition, we are living now in the digital area. We are glued to the mobile phones, like to the black mirror. And therefore, there's coming FOMO, fear of missing out. We constantly check Instagram, Facebook, and we are bombarded with success stories, with glamorous photos. But it is also very important to speak about some failures, problems. And I really love this girl, Kathleen Kirby, who was wearing very special skirt during her defense when she prepared from the 17 rejections letter she has gotten during her PhD. So once again, as for me, I am a physicist currently taken in a space industry. My dream was my own accelerator, as you can see the tube accelerator on the left side. But now I'm currently developing a concept of satellite constellations to reduce the digital gap in the world, to provide the access of internet to everybody. And I held a PhD in physics, and I have been told many times that this is useless education, that I shall study something more useful, more practical. I shall get a real job, not a PhD. I have a PhD in physics, and yet I am told many times I'm not hardworking and I'm not ambitious. According to these people who give me feedback like this, I shall work more than 10 hours per day and also over weekends. Be ready to travel on any request on the business trip and ready to relocate at any time to any place on the globe. And I have been recognized this year as an inspiring physicist in Germany, but I also sometimes feel inferior. And when I was growing up, I wanted to be like her, like the Captain Janeway. And so please have a look at my photo on the right side. In the end, you can see a very happy girl. But at the same time, if you pay attention, you will see a long shadow behind. This is the imposter syndrome. It's like a shadow behind a happy person. And at the same time, on the day I was born, the Iron Lady visited Aztec, and she paved the spaceway for me. And on the right side, you can see something like She Hero Decalogue. That at the end of my presentation, I will show you another example, and I will ask you to write yours. So I would like you to remember that I'm worth to give a try, to request. I can refuse to do something. I have the right to be wrong. I can take time to reflect and learn from this experience. I have a right to try new things and also fail. And I can take responsibility for it. I'm ready for it. This year was very special for me. Actually, I wanted to climb the ladder and shatter the glass ceiling, but in the end, I achieved much more, and I am much more happy about it. I climbed the ladder to hang the poster to support LGBT community in my city. I also discovered a wonderful bookshop with lots of ladders. Local bookshops are so important for communities. Giving a second life for the book feels really awesome and really important for me. I became a member of Juris Night Bremen. I became a board member, and in the end, we know so little about the oceans, but to be able to protect them, we need to fill up this gap. Therefore, I organized a talk during the Juris Night with emphasis on ocean protection with a female speaker. Science goes public. And although I held a doctorate degree, frequently men skip it, but at the same time they address themselves doctor. And maybe you heard about it, that even that happens to the first lady of the most powerful country. And frequently I was the only woman in the male-dominated environment. I still believe that I had something to prove, not only for myself, but on behalf of all women. I felt I had to somehow show my male peers and everybody around that I belong to physics, engineering, as much as they do. In addition, I felt like a fraud, like imposter. I felt I was exposed only to success stories. I very seldom heard anything about failures or trials, and for the longest time, I was thinking I was the only one who struggled for any success that I achieved. I thought that if I had to work so hard to achieve that, and it comes so easily to others, it must mean that engineering was not in my blood and I didn't belong there. And today I would like to tell you that yes, you can, and I truly hope I will blow some wind in your wings and you will spread them and fly high and always feel I am enough. And today I would like to tell you about my fight with my own shadow. This photo comes from a video clip of Lindsay Sterling, Shadows. Later we will be sharing to each other some inspiring stories or music, so this is one of them for me. And this is something I'm listening to inspire me and to bring me to good mood. Lindsay took part many years ago in the contest of young talents. She was criticized that her music, dancing with violin, is not a success idea and she should give it up. So after my PhD defense, I have been to her amazing concert in Hamburg, and more than 4,000 people listened to her, and the tickets were sold out quickly. And Skyamaki, A Battle Against Imaginary Enemies, Fighting Your Shadow, is also the instrument on the European satellite Envisat. Environment is very important for me, as you saw the topic of Yuri's night, oceans protections. And this was my first ever project related to space during my exchange studies in Germany. And sometimes we are surrounded by the glass ceiling, glass walls that we need to break. But the imposter syndrome is like this glass ball around us. We need to shatter it. And sometimes we need help from wonderful friends, mentors, or joining webinar like this. I will send you later an interesting story about the content of this album cover. Are you still with me? I hope so. So space is gender unfair. We need to shatter the glass ceiling. Being a woman in space, indeed, for many, is a very bumpy ride. And in addition, the imposter syndrome is like a plague nowadays. That's why I'm very proud to contribute to Artemis mission, and yet I love to listen to the Artemis album of Lindsay Sterling. And speaking of hidden figures and climbing the ladder, Country Johnson, I hope you know her, she needed 6 assistants to clean the board. So I am so sad that only half of population has access to the internet. This is where the space comes in and my department. And for example, a company called SpaceX wants to ruin this imbalance using space technology. So the World Wide Web is really worldwide. They are going to launch many satellites, constellations, and then once the constellation is launched and in operation, to provide access to everybody internet, even to the poorest and most remote locations. And this will provide educational materials to everybody, even to those without access to schools. And I wish when I was a small kid, I had more nerd girls like this kid. I hope that you recognize her. She was a year of the kid in Times this year. And I think exactly the same when she speaks about the role of scientists, about the role models. She says that she doesn't look like a typical scientist. Everything what you can see on TV or in magazine, it's like older, usually white men. And it's very weird for her. And her goal has shifted not only from creating her own devices as a scientist, engineer to solve the world's problems, but also inspiring others to do the same. Because based on her personal experience, it's not easy when you don't see anyone else like you. So she really wants to put out the message. If she can do it, you can do it, and anyone can do it. And I think the same. So I would like you to take some reflection now and have a look that now we are on the 20th of December and we are almost at the end of the year, and soon the special 12 days will start. I would like to ask you to use this time to reflect on you, on your goals, on your dreams, and remember to look forward only. But what will happen if you don't do this? If you decide, no, I don't want to overcome my fears, my imposter syndrome, then you will lose a lot. Respect towards yourself. Healthy relationship with your partner, with friends, with work colleagues. You will not be able to be yourself. You will pretend, you will hide, you will be scared, you will be judged or rejected. You will not make your own requests. You will fulfill requests of others. You will lose money, promotions, time, energy in your life. And you will simply follow what others tells you. You will believe what others will tell you. You will not realize your own vision, your own flame that is inside you. And it will be such a pity. So now, before we jump to life hacks, to some sort of strategies that I prepared for you, let's reflect on ourselves. So we will make a quiz together now. So say yes or no to the questions that I will read now that you can see, and count them. Yes, always as one. So the first question, are you able in a humorous way approach your weakness or make jokes about some embarrassing situations in your life? Yes or no? Second, would you invite yourself to the job interview and offer yourself a job? Would you go out on a date with yourself and marry someone like you? Third, do you do every single day something of which you are proud of, based on your own values? Do you do something that gives you a feeling of achievement? Are you grateful daily of what you have achieved so far? Or you do a daily dwell into some listing of what you did not achieve or you don't have yet, what you have not achieved, and compare yourself to others, that it counts as no? Do you speak with at least 3 close people to you about your secrets? Do you have at least one person with whom you can share your daily hurdles? Do you have at least one person who is always happy to see you? It refers both to very close people like your partner and friends, but also friendly strangers with whom you don't maybe share your secrets or personal life, but you have a great time from time to time together. It could be a barista who greets you always warmly and remembers you love soya latte, or nail lady who remembers you love the red nail polish. 7. Do you make physical exercises twice per week, about 1 hour? Yoga, walk, run, whatever you like. It is for pleasure, for fun, for relax. So if you do the household every day, but you hate it, it counts as no. So again, regarding your body, does it provide you more positive sensations than negative? To have some fun, are you able to react flexible, to reshuffle your tight schedule and planned actions? Or you think rather, oh, I don't deserve to reward myself because I have not yet made the accomplishments according to the to-do list? Then count it as a no. Are you able to engage yourself in some interesting activity when you need to spend your time waiting? Scrolling via Facebook or social media does not really count. Do you practice some hobby? Do you have passions? Can you quickly forgive yourself, others, and do not dwell in the past? In the spiral, thinking of the failures, lost chances, being hurt. Do you move forward quickly? Do you look forward, excited towards the future after some major negative event? I hope yes, or you will soon. And the last question, do you believe that you will make it in any situation, no matter what? So now have some minutes to count your numbers and reflect on the results. I truly hope that soon you will be answering yes to all these questions. So, the results. So, 9 till 13. You are happy and you illuminate this positive energy. It is so pleasant to be around you and you have a healthy sense of self-confidence. 4-8, not bad in terms of self-confidence, but in difficult situations, you might collapse badly and you might not have enough energy to deal with crisis. 0-3, you need to reflect on yourself. You radiate aura on happiness and it affects adversely people around you. So let's come to strategies now. So please remember that every single person feels low about themselves from time to time in certain situations, especially when you try something for the first time. When you start to repeat it, it is going to be better naturally and you will get more confident. So maybe now or maybe later, try to realize at least 7 situations you feel good about yourself, you feel confident, you feel excited about. Understand this context. When you are confident, when you radiate, and recognize and leverage it, and make it more often. And still, if you need more strategies to cope with imposter syndrome, the quickest way that I can tell you is try to reflect on your quiz and have a look to which questions you said no, and then try to make your best to make it yes. And please remember, this is not a solo expedition. You need community to support you and to understand yourself. And in the darkness days, your light comes really from your community. And I would like you to have some sort of take message home. If you don't recall anything else from this webinar, please try to think forward, not backward. Try not to think about your past and act purely only to solve the problem's conflicts and do not dwell why and how. Because I noticed that we live in some sort of culture with a tendency that we swim like in the swamp of the problem and conflict, but the right approach really is to concentrate on the solution and think towards the future. We can imagine a very simple situation. I live in Bremen and it's raining here a lot, and I see that there are some people who are living here in Bremen, so they know what I'm talking about. So if I were planning a beautiful day outdoor and it started to rain again, I could think I might be upset, frustrated, and do nothing. I don't have umbrella maybe, I don't have raincoat, I don't want to go out. But on the other hand, I might think totally different. I might stay at home, I might have tea, I might read book, I can call friend and have a fabulous day. So it's only from my approach, it all depends how I will approach it. So first thing first that I would like you to remember. So there's no quick fix for imposter syndrome. It will not happen overnight that you will overcome it, but the good news is that you can manage it. And there's frequently some sort of narrative in our head when it comes to imposter syndrome. We replay over and over again some sort of sentences that we don't deserve our success or we are not good enough. We have to stop it. So I would like to provide you some strategies. And unfortunately, you cannot see my camera, but you saw at the beginning that The organization I'm enough provides journal, and as journalist I'm not enough. This is one of the examples that you could use, or you can create your own, because I would like to encourage you for journaling every day, to write on the paper what you are thinking about your successes, about your failures. This is not about to write the best paper. This is just to share with you on anything that matters to you. I also love to write letters to myself younger or to myself older. The second strategy, surround yourself only with positive people who want your happiness and prosperity. Strong people recognize very quickly toxic environment and leave it immediately. So surround yourself with people with whom you can speak regularly how you feel. This is not about patting you. This is not telling you that you are great all the time, but real friend will really listen in compassion, and it's so important. Enjoy the progress, not perfection only. Many of us just concentrate on the big goal, and until we really achieve it, we don't find ourselves worth or successful. We shall reflect, on the other hand, what has been done well, what we can do more like this. And the most important, find and find a joy in your life. And sometimes it is so easy, like going out for the coffee, but sometimes in a busy schedule, you just need to plan with a calendar fun activities, something that you really love to do to relax. And stop waiting for the feedback from others, for their acceptance or encouragement. If you want to do something above average, be ready to be on your own. Listen and wait for feedback only from people who have very clear intention towards you, not hidden idea to use you. Passionate people who really have great values, plans, and achievements that are like yours. Get to know yourself via different experiences. Learn your own values, your opinions, what matters to you. Concentrate on your strong sides. Make, for example, Gallup tests. Acknowledge your power and take responsibility on your life, on your actions. Acknowledge that you can take care of yourself in all the aspects. Do not give this power to anyone. Maybe sometimes you heard that you need a man to take care of you, or some line manager to help you to advance in your career. Which brings me to the next. Stop waiting and act as a prey. For example, stop thinking I don't have luck, I still meet bad people, always something bad happens to me. Little secret, it happens absolutely to everybody, to all the time. It only matters how you react on it, how you respond on it, that you look for the solution-oriented approach, what you can learn from it. So which brings me to the next. Create your own dreams, your own visions, what you want to achieve, and go for it. Find your own passion in your life that you can always do, no matter how tired you are, how exhausted you are. The things that bring you joy, that you can do easily and some other people struggle. But at the same time, let yourself to take a break. Don't be harsh on yourself in weak moments. If you are tired or have lots going on, do not push further. Get inspired by inspiring people. Reach to them, write to them thank you, congratulate them. And very important, take care of yourself, of your physical look. I mean about your clothes, they should be ironed, they should be clean, something that corresponds to your personality, something that fits you, something that is adequate to your position or the positions that you are inspiring. Do not send signal to anyone that you cannot take care of yourself. Because how can I trust you if you cannot take care of yourself, something so basically like your look? Pay attention to a healthy lifestyle, to fitness, to food. You cannot be a strong person if you sit in front of a computer. Micro steps also matter, like walking or taking an elevator. If you eat unhealthy food, if you eat junk food or sweets, irregular meals, you cannot be strong. And think about the car. Every car needs maintenance and proper gasoline. Increase your competences, train them. Do not spend time watching YouTube or TV series with useless content that does not develop you. And now is a very special time, Christmas. So I would like you to take some sort of perspective and serve to charity, meet people who need real support, collect money for Christmas, for animal shelter, whatever. And the last but not least, be grateful. Be grateful for whatever is in your life, but I don't want you to simply write a list of the things like that you have a roof under your head or you had a breakfast. Try to reflect on your past and how you reached to this achievement. Tell the story. For example, for me, when I was doing my PhD, I didn't have much money to go out or to take care of myself. And now when I'm working, I can afford and have pedicure each month. And I go there and I meet this wonderful person. She's a single mom, and I absolutely love to support women who wants to run their own business. And she's a single mom and she's running her business and she's struggling every day, but she is always so fantastic and supportive, and I can spend time with her, and I'm so grateful for it. So I would like you to write stories like this for what you are grateful. And now, I would like you to also create your own decalogue on some sort of rules to be independent and self-confident. And here is some example. I'm really sorry it's in Polish, but I will try to translate it. And I will strongly encourage you to prepare your own. Like, I am a worth person. I love myself. I take care of my health. I can take care of all my business in my life. I am open to new opportunities. Every day I'm becoming wiser and stronger because I have the right competences. I'm very grateful for everything that comes in my life. Instead of concentrating on problems, I concentrate on the solutions. I have fantastic talents and I'm making the best of. I deserve everything the best in my life and I'm reaching to it. I would like now to speak about two phenomena that also give you impression I'm not enough, but they are different than imposter syndrome. So first is burnout. We live in some sort of culture of working a lot. And I think it's wrong that this is so, let's say, that some people are really proud of this badge. I'm like working really a lot. I'm overworking, and it can really lead to burnout. This is like a disease. So burnout, what I mean is some sort of prolonged stress that really gives you a physical problems, like not sleeping, not eating, heart disease, blood pressure, diabetes, and so on. And this is something that you should definitely consult the doctor. And I would also like to mention that in case of burnout, and if you think that you need some sort of therapy because of trauma, abuse environment, or partner addicted to something, just do it. The longer you wait, the longer you need to recover. You will not make it on your own. Nowadays, there's no social stigma to go to psychologists. I think that the physical illness is okay to treat, but as well my heart and soul. So I want to see strong women here. So my goal was not to solve all your problems, but to somehow ignite the interest for you on this matter, to incept some ideas. And I'm really looking forward to your questions and to your progress.
Well, thank you so much, Anna. Thank you very, very much. It was really a awesome masterclass. I learned a lot. Maybe you can stop sharing your screen so that I can quickly share mine again.
Okay, sorry, I forgot.
No problem. Perfect, thank you. So yes, before jumping to the Q&A, I can already see many questions in the chat. It's great. So now we have like almost 40 minutes for the Q&A, which is a lot, so feel free to ask all your questions. But before, maybe we can start with the Slido again, but it's just to reflect on the results of your test and also to see what you've learned from this masterclass. So the code is 10101, very simple code. And I will launch the Slido in just a minute. Yes, so the first question is, what was the result of your test about the imposter syndrome? Okay, well, it's quite balanced.
Wow.
Anna, maybe you want to say a few words about the results.
Wow, I'm very glad that there. Okay, firstly, I'm very glad that there is no 0-3 because it will be really upsetting. Very good, but I was really afraid. Most of the people will be 4 and 8, as I said. This is really okay, but when the hurdles will come, this is not enough. So really, please reflect again on the questions when you said no and why, and improve it. And bravo for people who are 9 and 13, but I want to see 13. I'm also going towards there.
Yes, this is what we are all hoping for. Okay, so yes, the next question is, were you surprised by these results?
Again?
The next question for the Slido is, I'm asking to the registrants if they are surprised by the results. It seems like it's rather no, so I mean, already knowing how you feel about your confidence, it's a first step, I would say, towards a more self-confident aspect. Anna, do you agree?
Yes. As I said, this is very important, self-reflection based on your own values or dreams.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Like, most people were not surprised by the result. And I can see in the chat, Yukta, yes, you say 40% or above 8. That's so amazing. I couldn't agree more with you. And then, so I had one last question is, based on what you have learned today, what is your answer to the question, have you already faced the imposter syndrome? But I remember that before the webinar, we had almost everyone to yes, so I guess again here we will have a full yes for everybody. Yes, this is what I'm
Yes,
saying.
I'm very glad that there are also gents here, because frequently we are speaking about it in terms of gender.
Yeah.
That women suffer from imposter syndrome, and we were speaking about it, and we think that gents also suffer from it. More and more speaking about it. And I was initially addressing this talk to women, but I was also saying that it is absolutely worth also for some gents to join us to learn more about women and their problems, so that they can be better colleagues, so that they can be better line managers, boyfriends, and brothers.
Yes, completely. Yes, I agree. So okay, thank you for answering this, Slido. Oops, I stopped sharing my screen. This is not what I wanted to do. So I'm going back to the presentation. We will not describe the slides now. We will go through the questions. But this is the result of some of the answers you've been sending via the Google form that has been sent before the webinar. So feel free to take a picture of this slide if you want to get inspired and have more self-confidence. You can listen to this amazing music or read those books. I will move on with the slides while we answer the question. Okay, so let's go to the question part. So during your masterclass, and now we had a first question from Amy. So a comment was, can you quickly forgive yourself, others, and do not dwell in the past in the spiral thinking of the failures, lost chances, being hurt? Do you move forward quickly, and do you look forward excited towards the future after some major negative event? So she's saying that it is a massive problem for her. And basically a question is, how do you suggest changing this thoughts pattern? Thank you.
So as I said, you shall look forward. Thank you for this question. This happens really a lot. So really the trick is when there is some sort of difficult situation and there is a problem, really to use all your energy to think about your future and create these opportunities. But I understand that there are some people who are persistent about it and they cannot stop thinking. So I was sharing you some name of the coach and the psychologist that I'm following. And the psychologist gave really funny advice on it. And I have to say that it's really working, but it's painful, and I really recommend it. So in the moment that you catch yourself on this, that you are again in some sort of spiral of negative thoughts, of chances, and so on, take a book that is very boring in your opinion and try to learn it by heart, line by line. Read it loud, the sentence, close it, repeat it. And I tell you that your brain immediately will shift towards thinking about future. Please really try it, and it's really working. If you don't like a book, it can be, I don't know, some song that you don't like. Or if you play piano, learn by heart some notes that you don't enjoy and play them without any mistake. So try to really use your brain to learn something. It might not be useful in your opinion, but it really shifts your mind. And I guarantee you, before you finish this book to learn by heart, you will be only thinking about future. You will be creating some future opportunities. You will be reaching to people about projects. You will be sharing your successful stories.
That's a very interesting comment, Anna. Thank you. Yes, it's something that we don't do enough, I guess. So thank you for pointing it out. So we have another question, but before I would like to share with you the confidence boost campaign that has been done by Argentina. So as you can see, we've created some some sentence we often say to ourselves, and we tried to tweak them a bit to make them sound more confident. So I encourage you to read the slides, and while you're doing this, Hannah, so I have a question for you. It was based on the question 9 of the test. So this question was to have some fun, how you're able to react flexible, to reshuffle your tight schedule and plan action, or you think, sorry, I do not deserve to reward myself because I have not make the accomplishment according to the list to do. So then if this is what you think, you had to conduct that question as a no. So Nguyen was asking how important, well, he was reflecting to the fact that this question is the question that described the most. his personal life, and that cannot rest in peace or feel like is wasting his time. So for you, how important is it to spare some time, Anna, and balance your life to be more confident in your personal and professional life as well?
I will come to really to the roots, really to the basics, and I will start to reflect on your own life, on your own values, and what you want to achieve, and look for opportunities that will be consistent with it. Because if you don't come to work with some sort of enjoyment, or you are not excited there, it will affect your own personal life as well, and vice versa. Our relationships basically create our own life, define our own life. So if something is wrong in your personal life, it will affect other. So I have the same values everywhere, and they are important for me everywhere. So I don't really split myself as the Anna at work, Anna privately. Everybody get the same face. So yeah, as I was mentioning to you, this Gallup test, the test where you can learn about the best competences of you, I try to leverage them as much as possible at work and in my personal life. And I also plan my own personal joy really with calendar, even if this is something silly. I sometimes even remember myself, like go for a walk, or buy yourself coffee, or buy yourself some nice sweets. So this is a must for me, some sort of personal quality time for myself. Does it answer?
Yes, perfectly. Yes, I can see some comments in the chat. So the next question I have for you, Anna, is about the burnout. You've been mentioning it during the masterclass as well. How can students with high ambitions avoid burnout and enjoy the process of doing what they're doing rather than working while worrying?
Once again, burnout can happen really to everybody at any stage. So you are not immune, in my opinion, to this. Even if you are very young and you can say you don't have much to lose, or even if you are very experienced and with high position, it can really happen to everybody. Conditions change a lot. Like look now at the pandemic. This came and many companies went in much worse economic situation. The positions were cut and so on. So it really affected people. So the most important, I think, is really to develop your own self-confidence. According to the 13 lists that I gave you, and also notice very basic, very subtle signals when something is wrong. Frequently, people realize they have burnout when they cannot sleep, when they cannot eat, they have pain in their body, they cannot function every day. Everything is difficult for them. They have even diabetes, heart problems, breathing problems. They develop asthma or some allergies. This is way too late. The very first signals, you have some sort of apathy, or you cannot eat. You don't like to do the things that you used to do and you were enjoying. This is really the moment to reflect on yourself. Talk to friends and go to doctor. And please also remember that we have all our ambitions and our goals, but we shall also reflect on them. I noticed that people with imposter syndrome have also tendency really to focus on some goal and no matter what, try to achieve it. And sometimes within the time they realize this is not what they wanted. So really reflect a lot what's going on in your life. And do not be scared to run away from toxic environment. We live in a global village now. There are so many people in the world. There are so many companies. There are so many projects. And if this is not great in this one place, it will be greater in another.
Yes, yes, exactly. And I would like also to reflect on the comment by Emmanuel earlier in the chat. She was saying that some guys in the team are so proud to be overworking, and sometimes she does feel guilty about it. But then she remembers, no, overworking will not make me a better person. It's very dangerous. And yes, this is
Yes,
exactly.
we shall
Go ahead, Anna.
also, there was a question about work-life balance and balance. Think about also your partner. If you give everything at work and you have some leftovers bringing, how your personal life will look like. Would you like to be the partner of someone who just basically brings you leftovers because it's overwork, overstressed, giving it all at work?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So also during the webinar at the very beginning, on your slide 3, you were showing some statements. For example, one of them was you constantly fear you'll be fired, even though your performance reviews or feedback are positive.
Mm-hmm.
And Nguyen was, well, he was commenting, I think both thoughts are true, right? Anna, do you have anything to say about it?
I would like to say that we all shall be living nowadays with the idea we will be fired every second. We live in this capitalismus economy and it can happen to everybody every day. But this is not something to fear from or be upset about. This is a part of our reality. It is like I'm living in Bremen and part of my reality is the fact it might be raining every single day. Take some actions toward it, prepare toward it. Do excellent job, do networking to be ready for it if it happens. Never think that you are the best and one and only who can do this job. As I said, we live in global village. There are 7 billion people in the world. They could find someone else for you. The most also important is to work in the environment where you are appreciated. Reflect if this is you, your sort of fear that you don't have enough competences, for example, and then try to improve them. Or this is something that your colleagues give you or your line manager gives you. Then for me, it will be something to reflect. Am I in the right place if I feel like this all the time?
Yes, I can see Nguyen is commenting as well. He meant the faults, I'm very sorry, Nguyen, but he meant the faults such as everything I can do, everyone can do, or the statement, my accomplishment is based on luck. I don't know, Anna, if you want to add anything, or maybe we've covered the question already.
Everything you can do. I mean, I really believe that each of us has very special talents and the best things. As I said, this Gallup test really helps you to reflect what are your talents, and it gives you also ideas where you could apply them the best. So my idea would be really make this test or any similar test and have a look what is your talent, what you are the best and other people are not, and find projects, find companies where you can really leverage it, and you will see a great difference.
Okay, thank you, Anna. I see a quick question from Alexandra. So she's asking if we make the slides available after the webinar. So I haven't mentioned it yet, but Anna has been preparing some content with materials available about confidence. Maybe we will send the slides as well. And now I don't know on your side, but we will definitely send you a full list of material about how to be more confident. And so check your emails after the webinar.
Yes, definitely. I can share spare slides. It's not a problem.
Okay, perfect. Emmanuel in the chat was well sharing first their experience. So she's at a managing position for the first time, and she had some team member doubting about her competencies, and she found herself being in situation to justify herself when doing such. She has the feeling that she gives right to this person because she needed to justify. So a question is, what will be your suggestion to avoid to end up in such a situation when someone is doubting your competencies?
Okay, this is something very generic. How to approach when someone criticizes you. So my approach is very simple. That I always listen to some feedback. I'm always curious, but I also listen with intention to verify it and to understand the intention of this person. So firstly, I would like to know how this person addresses you, because for me, this is not acceptable that someone in front of a big team just start to speak bad about me and my competences. I would really ask this person, please stop right now. Can we do this face to face when you really explain to me your doubts? So this is the first step. The second, I would like to really know what is the position of this person? Is this person really has enough competences to judge my competences? What is behind it? If this person really wants my personal growth, or there is something more behind it? And I will never believe single source of information. I will definitely verify it. I will take this information, but also speak with many other people about it. Is it really like this? Do you really think like it is like this? And if many people tell me it's like that, I will say, okay, I probably have to reflect on it. I have to improve, and I will speak to them as well. How can I improve? Because it doesn't bring me anything that someone tells me I don't have enough. I, I don't have enough competences, or I don't have them at all. You know, this is saying some sort of problem, and we don't only want to reflect on the problem, we want to find solution.
Yes, exactly. We have some questions in the chat about the psychologist you're following. People would like to know his or her name. Is it something you're able to share, or maybe later in the follow-up email with the materials?
I can write now, but she's Polish, but she can speak English, just to let you know.
Okay.
But all her materials, as far as I know, I mean, the one I follow are in Polish because I come from Poland. But I think in her practice, she also is able to speak English very well because she was studying and working in the USA.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing the name. So if you have more questions, take your chance. We have a quarter left to Anna is still with us until 4:30. So please feel free to send your question in the chat. In the meantime, I will jump to the question that has been asked during the Google form that we have sent before the webinar.
Okay, I see. Sorry, if I can interrupt you, I see Julia.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, yes. This is a general question about to have mentors and so on. Sometimes it really happens in your life that mentor comes to you and this person is very happy to be your mentor. Sometimes you have to push towards it. And I think this is a strength. I have to say that it's very rare that someone decided to support me on their own because they are very busy and they see that I'm quite accomplished, so they think I don't need it. But I really reach to many people on many different matters. And by statistics, someone replies. As I said, 7 billion people in the world. And for me, like if someone tells me no, it means no now. It doesn't mean it will not be yes in the future on something else.
Yes, and do you have any like tips on how to find a mentor or?
For me, it's
Like
very
you really
natural.
talk to many people.
I also
Yeah,
don't
good.
consider it has to be some sort of person with whom I have some sort of regular sessions. Sometimes just a few minutes with a person on very concrete matter. And it also is important for me. I also consider these people as mentors. So, and I work on various projects, various activities, and I can't say that I will find just one particular person that will cover it all. We are
Yes.
very dynamic creatures and we need different people around ourselves. So I would really reach, like VIA, I mean in aerospace, for example, I think most of you know it. We have a lot of wonderful women there who are very happy to mentor. I saw some, now that you're showing some presentation. Would you like to reflect on it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your comment.
I see that you are sharing some slides. Would you like to reflect on it?
Yes, yes. So I'm sharing the confidence boost. It's still the like the confidence boost campaign created by Argentina. Clip. So we have been translating this campaign in several languages, and you can check out the slide, the Slack we have. Maybe Ludia, you can share the link of the Slack in the chat. So in fact, yes, go ahead, Anna.
I just spotted the question about the program. Frequently, people ask me, how can I become manager in future? What kind of software I have to use and so on. I always reply that, first of all, software is not everything. You need to know methodology, how to use it. So software will not make you manager, will not make you leader. And this is what I will be covering in the next webinar about leadership. If you know certain software, you will learn it, but you need to have some sort of leadership skills. The second, frequently when you are asked during interview, do you know software ABC or whatever? It's not really the question if you really know the software. It is more the questions how you will react to the question that is stressful for you. If you become upset, if you start to feel less confident, if you become aggressive or whatever, it's more about your reaction. So please remember that. It's not about the software. It's about your attitude.
Okay, thanks for the comment, Anna. So yes, we also had a couple of questions in the webinar form, the Google form, sorry. So one person was sharing his or her experience. So it was, I am only sort of convinced the only easy way out for me is to constantly prove to myself. However, I want to know how to sustain this over a long time and how to make this into a positive thought.
Probably you concentrate much more on your goal than on the path. And as I said, you don't enjoy the path enough. You only think about perfection. You don't think about the progress. And this is the shift that one has to do to feel more comfortable and also reflect on the goal, because it can change. You can change. The world can change. And the goal might not be what you really want. So enjoy the path. Don't compare yourself to others, to people who are totally different to you. Compare yourself from the past, from the few days, few months. Where have you been? Where have you started?
Okay, thank you for your answer. Yes, you wanted to add something else?
Celebrate really successes, very small successes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so changing the slides now to the inspiring quotes that have been shared in the Google form. So yes, feel free to read a quote per day, for instance, and think about your success and what you've been doing. Another comment we had from someone from the Google form was that it's hard sometimes not to feel an imposter syndrome where you're not from a cosmic country. And it's true that space, it's a field mainly composed of passionate people, you know, and sometimes it can be quite intimidating. You can think, well, you're not passionate enough, so you don't belong to that sector. What can you say, Anna, about it? Do you think the space area is a field in which, like, the imposter syndrome is felt differently because you have all these people who are passionate and who feel like they're belonging to space since they're a child?
Definitely, this is true that space is something that really attracts and keeps very passionate people. So this is something that you can really, really say and notice, and why it's so exciting to work. But I also would like to say that I come from the country that does not really is famous of great achievements in space. So I could also feel inferior towards it. But I also know that that I come from the country, and I know many people who are really passionate, who are really curious, who are really excited, and I think this is really asset. I noticed that some of my colleagues really take things for granted, like here in Germany, that they have universities that provide some aerospace studies. They have fantastic space agency. They have many, many companies here, and this is what we don't have, what we create. But on the other hand, it gives us really opportunity to create something in our countries, which has to be established. We can come with new ideas. So I don't really think there is anything to feel inferior. And in the end, I think what is really important, and when someone is really going to job interview or joining new team, it's very important your attitude, your spirit, that you are excited, that you are positive. And hard competences, that all can be taught, that all can be trained. But how you approach something, this is your inner game, and this is much more valuable. So after a few years of working in industry, you will be the same level as other people.
Okay. Yes, and I couldn't agree more with you. And today I think it's awesome because we have a very international audience. So you see, you can be from anywhere in the world and belong to the space sector. So one more testimony we had in the Google form. Someone saying that every time I've been accepting for an internship or an experience, I've always been doubtful during the first days, feeling that I don't deserve it and being afraid of not being good enough and being worse than the recruiter thought. So that I could disappoint them and so on. But in the end, I had nothing to worry about and I did a super job eventually. And it's true that sometimes the imposter syndrome can be quite, well, you cannot feel very confident during first experiences or your first times. What would you recommend to be more confident when you're joining a job or when you're joining a new activity in which you feel not very comfortable with?
Again, back to the roots. I would really advise to reflect. If you are slightly scared, if you are slightly uncomfortable, but at the same time you're excited about the opportunity, that you are joining certain teams, certain projects, certain company, you love the vision, you love the mission. But if you feel really only fearful, really upset, really thinking I'm not enough, but at the same time have nothing positive, I would really reflect that maybe it's not the right place for you. And it really happens a lot to people like this. They are absolutely, then they don't enjoy even applying for the job. They don't enjoy networking. And then how later you can be excited about the project. So maybe this, and as you said, at the beginning, it's really normal to feel a little bit skeptical and I'm not good enough in new situations. When you start to repeat it, when you start to do it many times, this naturally goes away. So yeah, you can also tell to your colleagues, listen, I'm new here, I'm a little bit stressed. I have to tell you that people frequently don't realize it, and they are very happy that you share with them this, and they are very happy and open to help you on this matter. They ask you, like, what are you really upset about? What are you not confident about? And they really try to help you.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for this really appreciated answer. So we have only a few minutes left. I would like to share one experience, and well, it's quite linked to the question Lulia has been posting in the chat. So someone in the Google form said that it takes a very big win for her or him, sorry, to believe I can actually achieve something. Like on a regular basis, I struggle to believe in myself and always keep questioning if I deserve what I'm attempting to achieve. I also question when someone praises me sometimes, and often I try to make it like a puzzle for myself, so it's not harsh on myself. So I'm definitely on a better path now, but a long way left to go. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. It's really appreciated. And so Lulia is asking, how can we lift each other up? And what are some best practices to support other professionals, both online and in the office?
I'm really doing this somehow naturally. When I see a new colleague, I speak to them and try to embrace them and to feel them comfortable in the new company, in the new team. Very natural sort of politeness, kindness. Make more webinars like this, write more about problems, failures, not only success stories, what we learn from something. Joining professional associations where you can really learn from experience or other people, reaching to people that you find good, successful, and ask them about their stories, ask them to be your mentor. Be also open to be mentor for someone. I also noticed many people really would like to have a mentor, but when someone asks them, they are not willing to do it. So this should be very mutual. And online, I always say that creating a WhatsApp group, whatever association I belong or project, I create WhatsApp group that people can reach to each other and in public or in private and write about something, share some inspiring movies or books or experiences.
Yes, thank you so much, Anna. I think it is a really good way to end this webinar. So be a mentor, mentor the others, and mentor yourself. Surround yourself with amazing people. We know that the space sector is really like you have many amazing people in the space sector. So really reflect on the others. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. I hope you enjoyed the webinar and that you've learned a lot. So I said we will send you materials via email, so stay tuned. In the next couple of days. You will receive some interesting materials about this topic. And also we will have this second webinar on this webinar series about empowerment. So the second webinar will be about modern leadership with Anna again. It will be early next year, so stay tuned as well. Anna, do you want to say anything to conclude?
Thank you all for joining on Sunday. I really hope that you will be reflecting soon about these 12 days that I said about your future plans for the next year, that you will be supportive to each other. And yes, looking forward to the next webinar with you.
Thank you so much, Anna, for being with us today. It was truly amazing. And so yes, we stay in contact. You can contact us through the email address you can see on the screen, and also join the Slack Lulia has been sending in the chat. Again, Anna, thank you, and thank you all for joining. Have a nice evening or day, depending on when you're on Earth, and also enjoy the winter break and the end of the year. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.